Hey kids, welcome back to Polar Plunge Day 2. Today we're going to talk about huddle. I wonder what that means when we talk about penguins. Who knows? Let's find out. But first, let's stand up and let's sing together.
Welcome everybody. Why don't you stand up on your feet and get ready to sing.
Someone you don't know, give them a high five. Stomp your feet louder, wave your hands up high. Find somebody else now and give them a high five. Oh, 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 together and we're having fun. We're here to spread the love of God to everyone. Gonna get a little crazy and a little wild. Here we go now, come give it a try. Move it to the left now, move it to the right. Find someone you don't know and give them a high five. Stomp your feet louder, somebody else now and give them a high five. Oh, 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 oh. Move it to the left now, move it to the right. Find someone you don't know, stomp your feet louder, wave your hands up high. Find somebody else now and give them a high five. Oh, 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 oh. You are the one, the only one who's always faithful and true. Nobody else compares, there is nobody but you. Oh, and I can't stop thinking about how amazing your love is, amazing your love is. And I can't stop giving it out, I was made for this. Everywhere I go, I can't stop sharing your love. Everywhere I go, I'm reaching out for someone just like you do for me. You give your life for free. Everywhere I go, I can't stop sharing your love. Everywhere I go. You are the one, the only one who's always faithful and true. Nobody else compares, there is nobody but you. Oh, and I can't stop thinking about how amazing your love is, amazing your love is. And I can't stop giving it out, I was made for this. Everywhere I go, I can't stop sharing your love. Everywhere I go, I'm reaching out for someone just like you do for me. You give your life for free. Everywhere I go, I can't stop sharing your love. I wanna love the way can't stop sharing your love. Everywhere I go, I'm reaching out for someone just like you do for me. You gave your life for free. Everywhere I go, I can't stop sharing your love. Everywhere I go, I can't stop sharing your love. Everywhere I go, I'm reaching out for someone just like you do for me. You gave your life for free. Everywhere I go, I can't stop sharing your love. Everywhere I go.
Oh, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. Well, you know what? It's so important that what we do in community, because that's the way God created us to be. He created us to be together, and He created us to worship Him. So with that being said, let's sing this last song together, and just think about what you were made for, what you were born for. You were born to worship Him and to live this life with each other, right? I was made for this, I live for this. God has a reason for my life. I'm gonna shout it out without a doubt. I was born for this, built for a purpose. There is a God who made it all, everything we see. He built the mountains, filled the oceans, and He built me. He's with me, He's for me, I am not alone. He's with me, He's for me, I know that I was made for this, I live for this. God has a reason for my life. I'm gonna shout it out without a doubt. I was born for this, built for a purpose. There is a God who made it all, everything we see. He built the mountains, filled the oceans, and He built me. He's with me, He's for me, I am not alone. He's with me, He's for me, I know that I was made for this, I live for this. God has a reason for my life. I'm gonna shout it out without a doubt. I was born for this, built for a purpose. I was built for a purpose. I was built for a purpose. And you were built with a purpose. You were built for a purpose. And so no matter what you're doing right now, no matter what stage of life you're in, no matter what you're thinking today or what's happening today, just know that you are part of God's plan. You're part of God's plan. Well, let's take some time today and listen to the message.
Well, welcome to Polar Plunge. Today is day 2. Can you feel that chilly air blowing off those icebergs? Oh, it's very cold in here. Wish there was somebody else around, and then maybe I could huddle up next to them and stay warm. Oh well, I know we can stay warm by telling some jokes, and that'll make us laugh and we'll be warm. Are you ready for some more riddles? Don't you just love my riddles? All right. Why do penguins carry fish in their beaks? Why do penguins carry fish in their beaks? Do you know what, on a side note, I don't know why they carry them in their beaks either, because I would just eat it. Be like me carrying around chocolate in my mouth. Why would you do that? Anyway, okay, back to the riddle. Why do penguins carry fish in their beaks? Because they don't have any pockets. Yeah, that's good. Okay, this will make your stomach rumble. What do penguins have for lunch? What do penguins have for lunch? An iceberger. I know, that one's kind of dumb. Actually, that one could be iceberg lettuce, but only moms would know that because you probably don't know that lettuce is called iceberg lettuce. Anyway, okay, let's hope number 3 is better. All right, number 3. Where do penguins go to dance? This one you'll get. Where do penguins go to dance? To a snowball, of course. All right, okay, enough of the riddles. So we've been talking about 3 H's, haven't we? They were heart, huddle, and here. And today, we're going to be talking about huddle. All right, what H word, let's do a little review. What H word did we talk about yesterday? So on Tuesday, what H word did we talk about? We talked about, right, we talked about heart. Very good. And what did we compare the daddy penguin to? We said the daddy penguin treats the chick just like somebody treats us. Close, not our dads, but someone who's like a dad. Do you remember? Right, it was God the Father. Very good. Now, here's a hard one. Does anybody remember what the memory verse was? I'll tell you. I'll give you the actions. There was this, and there was this, and there was this, and then this, and then there was this. Or this. No, this, and then this. Do you remember what it was? It was, the Lord God will go with you. He'll never leave you or desert you. And number 4 review question, where was it found? Remember in the Bible we went Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. What comes next? Deuteronomy, right. It was Deuteronomy 31:6. Deuteronomy 31:6. If you remembered all that, you paid really, really good attention. Well, today we're going to talk about huddle and what huddling means. So what do you think to huddle means? It kind of means to get together with other people so that you're really, really close and you're almost touching them and you're in a group. Now, unfortunately, right now, because of COVID, we haven't done too much huddling, but we used to do more huddling before. Now we have to wear masks and stay 6 feet apart, but we used to huddle and get really, really close. And you often hear the word huddle when you're talking about football. So I've got a picture to show you of some football players and they're huddling. And see how they get really close together? And they're giving each other instructions as to what they're going to do next in the game. So that's what football players do. Well, did you know that penguins huddle? They don't huddle to discuss things because they're not playing the game. They actually huddle to stay alive. Can you imagine? Do you remember yesterday we were talking about how cold it is where they live? Well, it is so cold that they have to get into a group and they have to huddle together to stay warm and to stay alive. In photos and videos, you'll often see groups of penguins all huddling together. And they have their shoulders close to each other and they have their wings really, really tight so they can stay together and stay warm. Why don't you try that at home? Take your arms and put them right next to you. Pretend these are your wings. Okay, put them right next to you and then just go really, really straight. And if your brother or sister are in the room, maybe you can stand right next to them. And that's how they keep each other warm. They huddle. And did you know how many penguins huddle together? This is going to blow your mind. 5,000 penguins. Sometimes there's 5,000 penguins all huddling together to stay warm. That's a lot of penguins. And do you know what happens? Sometimes if penguins get separated from the group, sometimes they can die because they freeze, because they need the other penguins to survive. Look at this picture of all the penguins huddling together. They almost don't even look like penguins because they have their heads down and their wings in. They just look like a whole bunch of black things all together. But they're penguins. And like I said, you can have up to 5,000 of them. Well, remember yesterday I was telling you all about the emperor penguins? And I showed you part of that DVD, March of the Penguins. Well, I'm going to show you some more today because I want to show you a little bit about these penguins all huddling. If you get a chance to watch this DVD at home, you should watch it. It's an older one, but I think you might like it because it's very interesting about penguins. Like I said, it's not a cartoon like you saw yesterday, but they have some really interesting information. Well, after the mother, remember we said after she lays the egg, she gives it to the father to keep warm, and then she travels 70 miles to get food and to bring it back. And while she's gone, the father has to look after the baby. So he either has the egg on his feet, under his little brood, under his little pouch, or he has the chick really, really close on his feet as well. And those baby penguins are the cutest. Those little gray fluffy ones, they're amazing. Well, when the father is looking after the baby or after the egg and a big storm comes up, make a big storm, go, that's a big storm. When a big snowstorm comes up, they have to huddle to stay warm. So they have the egg on their feet or the baby, and they all get together and they huddle, huddle, huddle for warmth because they don't want the baby to get frozen or the egg or themselves. So they all have to huddle together. So watch this and watch what happens when all the penguins huddle together.
As winter descends, the tribe's only defense against the freezing cold is the group itself. It's almost as if they create another organism altogether. The huddled animals form a single moving mass, one designed for the sole purpose of sustaining warmth. Winter's first storm is upon them.
Well, let's look at our Bible verse for today. The Bible has something very important to say about huddling. Now, it doesn't use the word huddle. I'm using the word huddle, but it means the same thing. I want you to take your Bible, and I want you to turn to 1 Thessalonians. Now, where is 1 Thessalonians? It's kind of hard to find in the Bible. But look, here's my Bible, and see, it's way in the back. So you're going to go to the New Testament. You're going to go Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, and Romans. And then you're going to keep going, and it's one of those little hard to find books. But if you look close enough, you'll be able to find it. It's right before 1st and 2nd Timothy, which sometimes we can find pretty easily. So anyway, we want 1 Thessalonians. It's even kind of hard to say, isn't it? 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, and we're going to look at verse 11. And verse 11 says, "Therefore encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing." So what that means is you need to get together, almost like a little huddle, and encourage each other and build each other up. Now, I think this would be a good one to memorize. 1 Thessalonians 5:11. It says, "Therefore encourage." So I looked up encouragement on the internet, and I looked for the sign language. And the sign language for encourage is to do this. And it's almost like to bring everything together. So we could say, "Therefore encourage one another and build each other up." We can do that, can't we? We can remember that one. So "Therefore encourage one another and build each other up." And it's 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Can you do that? 1 Thessalonians 5:11. And it's encourage one another and build each other up. Because we're actually very important to each other, just like the penguins are when they huddle together. You need other Christian kids to gather around you, almost like a huddle, to encourage you. We all need other Christians, even adults do, because it's hard to serve God on your own. Have you ever taken swimming lessons? I'm not sure if they're having swimming lessons right now, but if you've taken it before, there's something that they teach you that's a very important rule in swimming, and it has to do with who to go swimming with. Does anybody remember what it is? Right, you're never supposed to swim alone. Here's a picture of a sign that says, "Don't swim alone." Now, why do you think shouldn't you swim alone? Might be nice sometimes if you feel like being by yourself, just going out for a swim. Well, they teach you that you should never swim alone because if you get into trouble, you need somebody else there to help you. So you never want to be out in the water by yourself. Well, it's the same with life. We need people to come alongside and help us because sometimes it seems like life gets a little hard. And so we need a friend that will help us. Now, I want you to ask yourself something for a minute. Ask yourself this first question. Do your friends help you follow Jesus, or do they make it harder? Think of your different friends and think about the different ones and say, do my friends help me follow Jesus, or do they make it harder? Do you know what? The penguins help each other, don't they? They huddle together and they keep each other warm. You'll never guess what they do. When they're in that big group, they actually let the penguins who are in the back have a turn in the middle so they can stay warm. Because you can imagine if you were on the outside of that huddle, it would get a little chilly, especially on your back. But they actually take turns rotating so that everyone gets a turn in the middle, so everyone gets a turn being very warm. That's very considerate of penguins. I don't even know if humans would be that considerate. Sometimes we're a little selfish. We'd want to stay in the middle ourselves. But these penguins actually take turns going in the middle. That's pretty cool. Well, we need help from our friends to help us follow Jesus. So where can we find friends that love God, do you think? There might be some at school. You'll know by the way that they act. And hopefully there's definitely some at church. So it's good to make friendships with other people that can help you follow Jesus. Church is important because church is like the little penguin huddle, isn't it? It's where you can huddle together with people who love God as well. So it's very important to go to church. Do you remember when you were a little toddler? They did that little thing, that little poem with your hands. You put your fingers together like this and you close them up and they say, here is the church, here is the steeple, open the door, and here's all the people. Do you remember doing that with a little kid? Maybe even if you have a little brother or sister that you babysit, sometimes you do that. Well, all these people inside, they're the huddle. And those are the people that we need to huddle with. So penguins who don't huddle sometimes don't make it. Excuse me, which is kind of sad. And Christians who don't hang around with other Christians and they don't go to church, sometimes they can have a really hard time serving God as well. Right now, I know it's hard to go to church, isn't it, because of COVID. But you're doing a great thing by watching it online. You're watching Polar Plunge. And you can watch it on Sundays as well. And maybe you have your own church that you go to and you can watch their service. But I want to encourage you that once the doors to the church open up again, make sure you go to church because that's an important place to huddle. And I also want you to remember that you're going to become like the people that you huddle with. So make sure you choose wisely and huddle with people that love God. So just like penguins huddle to stay alive, we need to huddle with other Christians to learn and to grow and to help each other. Well, let's say our superpower verse again. Remember where it was found? In that hard book that's hard to say, 1 Thessalonians 5:11. And it said, therefore, encourage one another and build each other up. And that's what we need to do, build each other up. That's what happens when we huddle, just like the penguins. All right, just before I pray, I want to remind you, don't forget, if you invite someone to Polar Plunge, if you invite them to watch online, you email me at jbenwell@rockchurch.ca. Let me know who you invited to watch, and I'll make sure that you get one of these stickers that you can put up somewhere. Isn't he cute, little penguin? I think we need to name him too. He's a very cute little guy. But this is a sticker that you can actually peel off and put somewhere. So I'll give you one of these if you email me and let me know who you invited to watch Polar Plunge. And don't forget also, we have our snow slide, our tube, that we're going to be giving away to somebody. And I think we're going to do the draw probably Monday morning. So you send in pictures of you doing the crafts and the lesson and all the, or not the lesson, but doing the games and all those things. And we're going to put everybody's name in a hat and draw out, and somebody's going to win the snow tube. So let's pray, and then we'll go on to some other activities. Father, I thank you that you've called us to huddle together with other Christians and to encourage each other. So I pray, Lord, that during this time when we can't meet together as much, that you'd encourage us, and that when we can meet together and all the places are open again, that we'll find ourselves in church every Sunday learning about you. So I pray that you'll be with the kids, help them to find friends that will encourage them and help them to grow in you. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, continue to have a great March break, you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. And stick around because there's more fun things coming up. See you later.
Welcome to day 2 of Kids Camp. It's teacher Joanna here, and we got our lovely demonstrators, Isaac and Thomas, and we have a teamwork game for you today because our theme today is Huddle Together. And it's amazing when we actually have friends and we can help each other and encourage each other, and that's what a church is like. A church can help you and support you when you need it. They can be there for you. And so we're going to demonstrate that today with some teamwork. So we have a little challenge for you today. The challenge is called Build It Up. Okay. So these two guys are going to work together. They're going to use these skewers. Now you can use anything that you have. You could use chopsticks. You could use 2 butter knives with supervision. You can use whatever you need to do where each of you has one and you're working together to build something. So these guys are gonna build a pyramid. Now, not a simple pyramid like this, that's too easy. They're gonna build a 10 marshmallow pyramid, and we're using marshmallows, but you use whatever you can find at home. You can use blocks, you can use pillows, you can use whatever you can find to stack on top of each other. Okay, so the pyramid will look like this: 4, 3, okay, then 2. Oh, this is even tricky without 2 people helping. And then, this is tricky, 1, all right? So this is what they're trying to build, all right? Together as a team. All right, so they're gonna be encouraging to each other, they're gonna support each other, and they're gonna help each other out. Are you guys ready? All right, 1 for you, 1 for you, and I'll get out of your way. You guys can come on in. And on your mark, get set, go. Come on back. All right, so as you can tell, this is not an easy challenge. You really have to work together. You have to apply equal pressure, right? Definitely, yeah. And you have to help each other out. These guys didn't get discouraged. They helped each other. They encouraged each other. It was amazing. So they had great teamwork. This is a great challenge for you to try at home. If you have marshmallows, it's really tricky, isn't it? Yeah, you could use blocks, anything you want, okay? So just make sure that you are working together and you are helping each other out, because that's the point of today. We want to remember that we have a church family, we have friends that we can lean on and get support from when we need it. So you guys have a great day. Enjoy the crafts, enjoy the songs, enjoy everything about Kids Camp, and enjoy the weather outside. It's beautiful. Get out there, get some fresh air, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey kids, it's day 2 of Kids Camp, and guess what time it is? It's craft time. And I'm so excited for this craft today because it's something I think you're really gonna love and something you're gonna be able to use all the time. So that's great. So today's craft is this awesome mug in front of me, and you guys are gonna get to color and decorate your own mug. And it says Polar Plunge on it. So it's like a souvenir of Kids Camp. And every time you use it, you'll remember doing the craft and having Kids Camp fun. So I want you to get your mug, go to your bag. Okay. Oh, there it is. Now, in order to get the picture out, you have to lift up this white plastic piece, and then out comes your coloring sheet. And you can set this part aside. And you're gonna need some crayons and markers today. So why don't you go gather up those supplies and then come back and join me and we'll color together. Okay, I have all my coloring supplies here and I have a lot of them. Look, so I have markers. I'm gonna put them in my mug actually. Kind of a neat thing to do with your mug. You can use it as a pencil holder. Okay, so to start, I am going to, I'm gonna trace the word Polar Plunge with this blue marker. Okay, and you guys can do that with me. I love coloring, and I have loved it ever since I was little, and that has never stopped. I love doing crafts with you guys. It gives me a chance to color. Okay, so you're just gonna finish outlining that. And the reason I like to do that with marker is because it makes it stand out. And if you don't have markers, that is okay. You can use crayons, you can use colored pencils, whatever you have, you can use that. All right, the next thing I want to do is the igloos, I think. So I'm going to get a different, where's my other marker here? I'm going to use the dark blue one. I'm tracing around the snow, all the lines of the ice. This color to color in that igloo. Take your time, guys. Stay inside the lines, because this mug is going to be special and you're going to want to keep it for a long time. Doesn't that look so nice with the color pencil inside the marker lines? These penguins, they are so sweet. One of them's waving, the other one's floating down on the iceberg. Pretty cute. They're all pretty happy to be at Polar Plunge. Okay, now for the penguin, I have a black marker. I'm gonna outline right there. This is a really tricky picture to color because everything's so small. So it's good practice and just take your time. Now I'm gonna color his little feet orange. His little beak. One of the other things in this picture that's kind of neat are these little things, and they're like some kind of a plant that's growing, and we can do those whatever color we want. So I think I'm gonna do pink for one of them because that's a fun color. There's like little polka dots on it. And then for the other one, I think I'm gonna do it yellow over here. Just to give some color to it and just make it look so pretty. Because really, when you think about it, there's not a whole lot of color, right, outside in the winter. Most stuff's just white. So we need to put some color in other ways. So these little plants. Okay, and then there's the trees, so you can color those green. And then the snow is just white, but you know what? We can kind of jazz it up a bit, and we can put a little bit of gray around it, almost like a shadow. Okay. And there's some shadows on the ground. And then one of the other things we can color is this river that's flowing through here. So this picture can take quite a while to color if you take your time and you do a really nice job. I already finished one, as you guys can see. And I'm gonna take it out and show you what it looks like when it's all done. So there you go. So I want you guys to keep coloring, and I want to see your mugs when they're all done. So make sure you either send your pictures to jbenwell@rockchurch.ca, or go on Instagram if it's okay with your parents, put a picture on there and tag Spectrum Kids so that we can see all the things that you guys are doing with us. So here's my sample. Your guys, you don't have to do it the exact same. Yours can look totally different, but here's an idea of what it could look like. Okay, you guys, so take a close look. All right, and then send me yours. Now, one thing I do want to mention before I say goodbye to you guys today is how to wash these mugs. Now, you don't want to wash it with the picture inside, so you want to make sure you take that out and then you can wash your cup. Then, to put it back together, all you do is you take this, you roll it up, you stick it back in, and then you secure the top. And there you go, okay? And when you want to wash it, you take this part out, and this is probably the part that's going to be the dirtiest because this is where your juice and stuff will be, and this is the part that you wash, okay? So make sure you don't wash it with the paper inside because it will get all soggy and it'll ruin all your hard work. Okay, guys, now that we've covered that, I think you're ready to finish coloring and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for joining me.
Today was so much fun. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you come back tomorrow for day 3. Bye.